Welcome to Tips, Tricks, and Practice Routine. How and when to throw a blocker bag. Believe it or not, there are still situations or environments where you would consider throwing a blocker bag. And there are a lot of them that you would not. As far as a higher end player, rarely do you ever want to throw a blocker bag because the players are so skilled nowadays. They're able to step out, get around bags. Airmail is just a deadly tool if you're able to airmail very well, and you can just get around a blocker bag in a heartbeat. And a blocker bag, if not thrown in the correct location, you immediately are going to be losing points. So when you get to your higher levels of players, it's not the best idea to throw a blocker bag unless you got a guy on fire and you just need to kind of mix things up a little bit, maybe then. Personally, I never do now that we've reached a higher level. But there are plenty of areas that you would like to, or you could, and it could be a great tool to make your opponent struggle, give up points. And that is like more of your entry level, your early learning, your entry level type players, backyard players. If you learn how, when, and where to throw a blocker bag, you will definitely become one of the top players at backyard barbecue or at the tailgate party. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple peeks at where's that location at and when's a good time to do that coming up. When to throw the blocker bag and where. Basically on when, anytime somebody is throwing a lot straighter than you and pretty much beating your butt by sliding that right up the middle. That's when you want to put a blocker bag out there. Now, there's a little differences out there where people believe that bag really needs to be. Some just put it out here and believe it needs to be out here in the center of the board somewhere. Yes, that's going to cause a little bit of a problem for a lot of players, especially your beginners, your backyard intermediate type throwers. Good players are going to pretty much go around that or right over it. So, and especially when you leave it down here further away from the hole, you've basically, for good players, you've created more like a bucket type of a shot. They can either go straight to the airmail or just put it up in here. And a lot of players are very, very good at even throwing it just over your bag and dropping it right over here and going right into the hole. It's very easy to do. You have that momentum of the bag coming in. It's going to go in. It's going to fly right up in there. I suggest highly that you do your best to get that bag as close to that hole as possible. That way, they're either going to there's a good chance they're going to knock you into that hole, or they're going to hit you and potentially either fly off and knock you in. Because when they're coming in with that power of the bag coming from the air, they will hit your bag. And a lot of times they'll ride in with it, or there's times where they'll just knock you in. You'll go in and they'll go off the board. So those are a couple things to think about when throwing that blocker bag is positioning. Yes, anything in the center of the board is good for somebody that's just a straight shot, entry-level type thrower. But when you get to the better players, you want that bag as close to that hole as possible. That way it really creates an issue and it takes away some of those angles from the side or that airmail shot, which they got to be very good at to do it. So those are a couple things on the blocker bag. If you have any questions, reach out to us at US Cornhole on our YouTube page, Facebook page, or our website. Thanks for tuning in, guys.